Okay, we will call to order the special meeting of the Los Osos Community Services District Board of Directors for Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. Will you please join me for the flag salute? Oh, do we need, yeah, no, we'll do the vote. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, now Laura, we'll do that roll call.
Director Fourcroy,
Is she with us?
can you hear me?
Are you there, Laura?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
I can do the roll call.
Yeah, yeah, we can take it. Yeah.
Director Gatchel. Here. So, oh, it's mine.
It's not mine.
Oh, never mind. I was gonna call it.
Yeah,
Director Womack,
present.
Director Fourcroy. Here. And President Sisanian.
Here. Okay, with that, we'll go on to general action item 2A, review of the emergency contracting procedures regarding the Vista de Oro incident.
And I have a couple of updates as well to go with this. As you are aware, we've been adopting this resolution just about every week for quite a while now to continue the emergency contracting procedures for the public contractor code. So I will be asking you to adopt the resolution that's in your agenda packet after I provide a couple of updates here. I wanted to tell everyone the emergency repair work is underway. Some great progress up there. We started on Monday. Between Monday morning and now, the breach is probably 3/4 or more compacted in. The only downside is we've had to grub off all the vegetation. So now we've got bare sand with the upcoming storms, which I'll talk about here in just a minute. But great progress. If we had clear weather, we could probably finish that within a week or so, but now it looks like it'll be extended some with the rain. Did get district was assigned a FEMA representative, talked with the person today, very exciting. I'll have a meeting, conference call meeting with a team of FEMA folks on Monday, and we'll then be doing a schedule to get them down here and see what we're doing. So that's exciting. We're in the queue and it's underway. And that was touch and go with how you go through their internet process. I think I told you last time their website sam.gov dropped my account. And so that sent us back to square one on going through the process again, which I did last week. So anyway, we're back in the queue. On the upcoming storms, had a call with Scott Jalbert, who's the head of county OES. We've been having updates from the National Weather Service. We'll have one again tomorrow morning at 11. But he warned me that Weather Service is issuing a flood warning in advance, which is unusual this far in advance of a storm. They've upgraded how much rain we're going to get. It was around 3 to 4 inches. It could now go as high to 6 to 10 inches, with the 10 being further north. So we did put out word in our social media today about sandbagging, everyone just getting prepared. This has the potential to be a big storm. I'll know more about that tomorrow, and I'll probably put out an update to the board as well as the public. We are mobilizing our reserves for Thursday night, Friday morning, anticipating when the brunt of the storm will pass through. We will have probably Hartzell's crew up there part of the night, and us up there, our crew up there part of the night. So we're going to have the 24 hours. Friday's going to be a challenge during the day as well, but the storm's going to hit pretty hard starting about 1 or 2 in the morning. And so we have to definitely monitor Pacho Valley Road to make sure the road is safe. And I've ordered closure signs if needed. And then that's where our CAL FIRE crew will come down and help monitor that. Any questions on those updates?
Yeah, I want to talk more about the storm and our preparations and what we're going to be doing, because our emergency repair isn't going to be finished, correct?
Correct.
So we're going to be back to our temporary fix. So we're going to definitely be putting water on Petro Road.
Correct.
Have you been talking to the county about that?
I have tried. I got
And-
signs, but there'll be no other assistance from them.
So I guess I'm pretty worried about that piece of it. I mean, that's not our road. Do we even have the authority to close the road?
They asked me when I make the decision to close the road to notify them.
Okay, so we're totally on our own.
Yes.
Got it. And it's going to be a hard deal for us.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you have the reserves. I would give you my support for anything that you think you need now to get it tomorrow. Like with those reserve firefighters having a bunch of sandbags ready, anything else that you think you need.
Yeah,
Please don't hesitate.
We worked on the outfall, where it hits Petro Valley Road. That was pretty torn up from the February 24th storm.
Mhm.
So our crews relined it. We had a new strategy on how to sandbag out on the walls to keep the liner in place. Our fear there is not only the traffic, but it's also undermining the road and having that. So we think we've got it armored enough. But as we've seen, that force of that water is like a water cannon.
Wait, it was designed to operate that way.
Right. And, thank goodness, and credit to Matthew, we have the K-rail across the street, which did fairly well. We couldn't hold sandbags on the roadside, so we're not going to try that again. But it is armored on the outside part, and we'll be up there monitoring the S&T tanks and that pathway that would be the path for water to go down through the Monarch Grove subdivision. And that's where we'll be focused, probably with sandbags with the reserves.
Yeah, kind of all the way down.
Right, and
Petro.
I asked the county to clean out that drain inlet down at the very bottom, right in front of the nursery,
Nursery.
so that should have been cleaned out. I did ask them actually to go and clean out the ones on Pine that had issues, and supposedly they did that this morning.
Okay.
So
And we'll have the pumps, hopefully, to alleviate the need for the outflow to be working
right, but the way the pumps will help for a while.
for a while, and then it's just likely to be.
It's just
okay.
going to be what
It's
it's
gonna
going to be.
operate
And
the way
that's when we
it's.
shift our attention down to the road
Yeah.
and safety. And I do have arrangements working with Battalion Chief Province and OES to put out evacuation warnings. I'm not concerned with the Vista neighborhood as much as the Monarch Grove and
Right.
Sunset Terrace areas
Right.
because of that water we'll be putting down the road.
One thing that came up on the previous storm that might be helpful is to contact the sheriff and maybe, our CHP. It's always I can't remember his last name right now. But they always seem to want to help, and I know they don't have a lot of resources, but if they could do traffic control during the day or something, that would be.
Yeah, I'm going to
lot
be
of-
talking with Paul in the morning more about this.
Yeah.
Because according to Scott Jalbert, OES, he said that we need to coordinate with CAL FIRE, and CAL FIRE should be coordinating with Sheriff and CHP. So
Okay.
I'm going to make sure we have that loop completed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it kind of obviously it took a while last time to get folks in place. So,
Right.
yeah, I would just say anything you need now, or you think you're going to need, just get it.
Okay.
Or people, if you need more people, don't
Got-
hesitate now.
Got the entire crew ready. So we're going to have our crew plus Hartzell crew plus CAL FIRE crews.
Okay.
My role will be definitely making some of the decisions when the event's going.
So early Friday morning through the day probably be the heaviest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this has the potential to exceed what we've already tested.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And so,
Ground's wet. It's so saturated. See, we
Yeah.
talked about that.
Yeah,
The
so
the
it's
good
just-
thing
it's
is
a big
where the breach has been developed too, if it does top our berm in the basin. There's plenty of area now.
Yeah.
Because it's been dug out, cleaned out, and so worst case, if we see it breach the that smaller berm and basin.
Yeah, we're definitely in a better spot for sure.
Yeah.
And we kind of know what to expect.
Right,
so.
and I think Charlie Hartzell said he'll have it probably within 4 feet of the top by the end of tomorrow. So it just won't be protected.
Yeah.
So, any other questions?
No, thanks for going through that. And
Yeah.
getting ready, preparing.
Yeah, taking this
Appreciate your
one,
help.
learning the lessons from last time. Trying to cover the bases, but it's really in the moment.
Well, the memories are still fresh, that's for sure. So with that, we'll go to public comment for agenda item 2A.
Can you hear me now?
Do we have anyone online?
Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello.
Yeah, is Laura there but muted?
We do have one online.
I got Felicia.
Jeanette, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Lynette Tornotsky. I can hear Laura just fine. I don't know why you guys.
Oh, maybe it's on our end.
Okay, yeah, go ahead now.
Yeah, Ron, it's on your end. Let's see. Thanks, Lynette.
You have to come in, Lynette.
Hey,
Rebecca
Lynette,
Baxter.
can you go to the question and answer panel and let them know that their
Really
speaker is
sorry,
off?
Jeanette, that for some reason I have you unmuted.
I'm also texting Ron.
Do you have to turn on a speaker or something?
That shouldn't be the problem. Lynette, if you could put your question in the chat, you can at least read it.
That's a good solution. Thank you, Ron. Okay, in the meantime, do we have any comments here in the room?
Hi, Liz Peterson. I just wanted to give an update that there are now 20 homes affected officially in the Vista Court. I should say the Vista de Oro disaster. 11 homes are still displaced. 2 homes got back in place into their homes this week. And I have two homeowners that will be officially homeless again as of April 1st. And we're working really diligently with them to find temporary housing with them. I'm working with Pine Street and Ash, and obviously with the new floods the new rains coming in, that's going to be another new area of concern coming up, and trying to really find who is suffering, maybe that don't know that there is, help available. And I also got a call today from somebody in Morro Bay that they're looking to kind of model their responses after what we have done here in Los Osos. And so I'm wanting to know if how the Office of Emergency Services plays into anything that happens if something goes wrong, with CAL FIRE and, the county and stuff, if something goes wrong in the next, 10 days of stuff. And then are there evacuation centers? Is there an evacuation center that is going to be designated, and what does that look like? And are there like services of people that would be called and relief workers, like what would that look like? And is there anything that certain citizens can do to help the CSD with that?
Thank you. Thank you for the update, particularly on the Vista de Oro neighborhood. It's good to hear that people are getting back into their homes. That's key. Any other public comment? Do we have the chat from Lynette yet? Sorry, Lynette, your 3 minutes are up. Okay, okay. Do you have any word on an evacuation center? Boy, that was such an unexpected event, I guess, last time that,
Right.
although Morro Bay got hit not with a failure of any kind, that was just an overflowing creek. And I heard today that they had already closed Main Street.
Really? Well, as far as preps, I haven't heard, on the last Office of Emergency Services call, San Luis Obispo, or the Red Cross is going to open something in San Luis Obispo.
Okay.
But that's the most I've heard. Like I said, we're going to have a call again tomorrow. And I'll be talking, like I said, with Battalion Chief Province, and I can ask some of those questions because, we're trying to cover the evacuation warnings, and if there was actually an evacuation, that's something that between CAL FIRE, sheriffs, and OES, they'll handle that. But as far as a place for those people to go,
Not yet.
Not yet. Now, I know last time we had the community center ready to open, but we had no power.
Right.
So
Right.
that,
Ralph's parking lot had to do.
I'm sure we would have that option again, but it depends on if we have power.
Okay.
So again, great questions, and I'll see what I can do to find some answers for those.
And I noticed even with the closure of the resource center at the Vets Hall, there's still a SBA loan office at the library. And you can still file claims. I think March 16th is the date for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so with that, I will entertain a motion.
I recommend the board adopt resolution 2023-18 reaffirming delegation of authority to general manager or his designee pursuant to public contract code section 22050B to enter into emergency public work contracts.
I'll second.
Okay, and we will need a roll call vote.
Director Gatchell,
Yes.
Director Fourcroy,
Yes.
Director Womack,
Yes.
and President Sisanian.
Yes. Okay, then we'll move on to agenda item 2B. Adopting resolutions approving the sole source contracts for the emergency repair of the Cabrillo Stormwater Detention Basin.
Again, we've adopted a few resolutions all along the way since the disaster to secure services during this emergency. These will be the last two that I'm going to ask for sole sourcing or non-competitive bidding. And that's with Ecological Assets Management. They're the biologist, the snail experts, and Geosolutions, which are doing the compaction testing up at the site. I just want to point out this is consistent with our procurement policy for non-competitive contracts. This one definitely, if you look at 3B, an emergency will not permit delay. If we were trying to go through our formal process, we would probably be in April or May before we got anything done. This is also, in my interpretation, consistent with FEMA guidelines. Especially if I can say the exigency situation, which is different from an emergency in that it can be something that can go on. You need to make immediate repairs to make sure you're not endangering life, property, health and safety and that kind of thing. So the contracts for ecological asset management, there's two parts to this that equals the 28,750. A little over 11,000 is for the actual monitoring during the construction. And then they've proposed on, we may have to do, as part of our Section 7 consultation with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, do mitigation. And so this is to provide mitigation services in the event that U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service say we have to. And so we'll definitely be paying the little over 11,000. The extra 17,000 is for the mitigation work.
If we need to radio collar the snail.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And that's going to turn into a larger project because the mitigation site will be adjacent to our basin, which has the large eucalyptus trees that we've been hearing about for about 4 years since I've been here, the fire hazard. So I'm going to work with CAL FIRE, Fire Safe Council, and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to see if we can resolve the whole thing as part of the mitigation. So that's my plan right now. So I'll have more word on that as we develop that and understand what we have to do. And so with that, my recommendation is to adopt these resolutions, and I'll turn it back over to the board for any questions.
Do we have any questions from the board?
No, I'll move to recommend the board adopt resolution 2020.
Public comment.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I was
Nope,
going to let him make the
nope.
motion and then
Can you
put it
hear
on
me?
hold.
I
But
need
yes, do
public
we have
comment
public
first.
comment on agenda item 2B?
See no public comment.
Lynette, if you wanted to make a comment.
Okay, and I
please
see
raise
none
your
here in
hand
the
or
room.
type it.
So with that, we'll accept Matthew's motion and I'll second that. Could we have a roll call, please? I mean, yeah, roll call vote, please.
Director Forkroyd,
Yes.
Director Sesanian.
Yes.
Director Gatchel
Yes.
and Director Womack.
Yes.
Okay, I think that
concludes our meeting for
that
tonight.
wraps up our agenda. So with that, we'll adjourn and pray for sleep for Ron.
We'll have a challenging next few days.
Yes, it will be.
But I'm used to the